carry our body safe. Good morning, Bill. Don't listen to a word I say. The screams all sound the same. Good morning, Waz. Though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our body safe. Good morning, Derek Anderson. To shore. All right. Don't listen to a word I say. Thank you. Let's get out of here.
All right. Excuse me. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Here we go. Here we go. Crazy story morning. Crazy story morning. Wait for it. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Go. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Go. Go. Give me a number between 1 and 50. You can put up to 3 of them on your line at one time. Okay? Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Joe D's. Joe D's, first guy out of the gate. Joe, set of 13. Jojo. Name's going on the list. Joe already got it, you guys. Joe D's. Name on the list. There's a Joe D now. So far we have Ishmael, Nerdy, Big Mike, Jesse, James, Billy D, HP, Sue Littlemeyer, and Joe D's. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So we'll get a couple more people's name on the list this morning. If your name isn't on the list yet, you still have a chance. You mean I still have a chance? You still have a chance. Okay. I wanted to, good morning. While people are joining us this morning, good morning, Laura. Good morning, everybody. Hey, anybody heard the story about the raccoon? Who's heard the story about the raccoon? I'm being a little vague, just in case you haven't heard the story. Oh gosh, I was cracking up this morning. Yeah, Zoo City. Okay. Did you guys hear it? Paige says, yeah, Pops, everybody has. Oh gosh, okay, RX. How come it's all a serious drug abusers in the past all have heard the story? Okay, but then people like, excuse me, Sue Littlemire's like, no, I'm innocent, okay? You guys want to hear the story? Donnie hopes he makes bail. I'm going to read the story to you. I'm going to read it, okay? A woman was arrested after a raccoon named Chewy was found with a meth pipe in the driver's seat during a police stop. Chewy. Okay, here we go. A woman has been arrested after a raccoon named Chewy was found holding a meth pipe in the driver's seat. Okay, Paige. And in the driver's seat of her car, in what police are calling a strange encounter on patrol in Ohio. Okay. The incident occurred on Monday at approximately 7:15 p.m. when Springfield Township Police Officer Austin Branham decided to conduct a traffic stop on South Arlington Road after identifying a vehicle whose registered owner had an active warrant and a suspended license. When Officer Branham approached the car, he found 55-year-old Victoria Vidal of Akron, Ohio, and was able to detain her without incident. However, things took an unusual turn. Okay. So far, it's a cop just doing his job, ran a license plate. Oh, wait a minute, there's a warrant out for that person. I'm going to have to pull her over. Okay. He pulls her over. 55-year-old girl, and he gets her out of the car. However, things took an unusual turn, said the police statement. As Officer Branham returned to the vehicle, he observed a raccoon named Chewy sitting in the driver's seat with a meth pipe in its mouth. Chewy had somehow gotten a hold of a glass methamphetamine pipe, leading officers to further inspect the vehicle. Police did confirm that Chewy was a pet raccoon and that he was not a wild animal after Vidal had the appropriate paperwork and documentation on him. Who has documentation on owning a raccoon? She's got that part together. She just doesn't have her license quite hooked up yet. However, a subsequent search revealed that Vidal's car contained a bulk amount of methamphetamine, crack cocaine, and 3 used glass methamphetamine pipes. Vidal was charged with F3 possession of drugs, 3 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia, and cited for driving under suspension. She was also turned over to Cuyahoga Falls police for her active warrant, which was related to possession of a crack cocaine. Thankfully, Chewy, the raccoon, was unharmed, and notification was made to the proper authorities to determine that she has the paperwork and documentation to own the raccoon. While our officers are trained to expect the unexpected, finding a raccoon holding a meth pipe is a first. Oh, Higgs, I have a whole theory on what happened, okay? No raccoons were hurt or injured in this incident, authorities confirmed. Who wants to see a picture? Give me 5 people that want to see a picture of it. Okay? Oh, gosh. Wait. Who wants to see Chewy? Give me 5 people. If you haven't seen the video, I was going to show it regular here, but Brock was all worried that it would violate a copyright. So I did the next best thing. I just videotaped a portion of it off of my TV, so it's my own video, okay? So it's not the highest quality situation. But here we go. Wait for it. Okay, wait for it. Chewy! I have a theory. Wait. What's going on, Chewy? Oh, I see. Okay. Excuse me. Wait, what's going on? Okay, let me start it over. I'm not laughing at the lady. I feel really bad for her. I said to Brock, I go, what 55-year-old lady's driving around with bags full of meth in her car? I mean, that's sad. And he goes, Pops, she looks 55, but she's 28. That's what meth will do to you, okay? And I can tell you what's going on with Chewy. Chewy was like, he goes, oh shit, I'm getting pulled over. We're getting pulled over. I'm going to take my last hit because I think they're going to take me too. Chewy was going for his last hit. You know, Chewy's used to it. What raccoon in the world wants to drive around in a car where people are smoking meth? How unnatural. If Chewy wasn't ripped, I don't know who was, okay? Chewy's just like, oh, geez, we're going down, Victoria. We're going down. Let me take a lasty before they take us in. Meanwhile, they send Chewy to a nice hospital and lady's going to jail. I don't know, man. Is that raccoon abuse? You think so, nerdy? You think he was just doing a good deed? I think Chewy's addicted himself. That's what I think. I think he's got the bag. Whenever she needs a little something, she just sends Chewy in. Just go in there. Like, you know, little raccoon, he can get in there. Got it, Mom. Here it is. She sends Chewy in to get some more. Chewy's like, oh, who has a raccoon named Chewy? That's the best name. Let's not forget Chewy here. Okay, so was that funny? Give me 5 people that are still laughing. I've been laughing for an hour now, ever since I saw that on CNN. There's a couple of really good videos of it, but Brock said I couldn't play them here. Okay, like it's police camera, and the best part's the lady reaches, she's trying to reach back in to take the pipe away from Chewy. And the cop goes, no, you can't do that. That's evidence. She, well, I don't want him to have it. If you didn't want Chewy to have it, why is he in your car? Okay? Why? Okay? It's still cracking me up. Big time crack up. Okay. Let's do another meth logic, Sam. This is my cup. Be kind. Be kind and not a cool. Free Chewy. Oh, that poor Chewy. Chewy's like, I'd sure like another hit right now. Where's Victoria? Okay. Give me a number. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Go. 1 and 50. Give me a number. I'm trying to get people's name on the wheel for the big spin tomorrow. You could put up to 3 of them on your line at one time. Kill the game. Well, you guys are fast this morning. Fun Zen verse. 15. Which one? Where is it? It's right at the very beginning there. Funny Zenverse. Funny Z. Funny Z. Your name is now going to go on the spin wheel. We're going to spin tomorrow 2 or 3 times, but you have to be, you have to be here to win. Okay? On the list so far is Ishmael, Nerdy, Big Mike, Jesse James, Billy D, HB, Sue, Joey D, and Funny Z. Okay? So in order to win, though, you have to actually be here tomorrow. And if you're not here, we'll just spin it for someone else. Okay? Give me 3 people. Give me 5. 5 people say, Pops, that sounds pretty fair. That's pretty fair. That'll work. Okay. I wanted to read a couple of randos. I'm going to read a couple of randos. Yeah, they should have to be here. Am I right? Myth number 203. Myth number 203. Gandhi's first name was Mahatma. Of course it was. Everybody knows it was Mahatma Gandhi. That's his name. His first name was actually Mohandas. Mahatma is his title. This I didn't know. Mahatma means the great soul. The great soul Gandhi. Things that make me go, Was Rosa Parks the first black woman to refuse to sit at the back of the bus? We get that story a lot, don't we? We celebrate the heck out of Rosa. I think she might even have a stamp or something. But she wasn't the first. This is, again, it's kind of like, where does media want to take you? Actually, Claudette Colvin was the first black woman to refuse to give up her seat. But black activists refused to use her as an example of equality because she was pregnant and unmarried. So we can't use her. Rosa Parks, on the other hand, was a simple woman with no sort of background. Therefore, she became the perfect example for the cause. We're going to pick and choose our heroines. Yep, sorry. Pregnant and an unmarried teenager? You don't get to be on the poster. More things that make me go, What was Mozart's middle name? What was Mozart's middle name? We've all heard this one. Amadeus, right, Funny? We all, I know. Amadeus. Mozart's middle name was not Amadeus. In fact, he was never called Amadeus. He did have a nickname of Amadei, but he did not have a middle name of Amadeus. These guys keep making stuff up for us, and they keep hooking us. We're falling for it left and right. Okay? Michael Jackson. He invented the moonwalk, right? I always thought it was the coolest thing to see somebody do a moonwalk. I try to do a moonwalk, I fall over backwards. I have old white man moonwalk-ishness. Michael Jackson invented the moonwalk. Not true. I'm a nerdy. Fifth Agreement, be skeptical. I like it. Okay? Actually, Bill Bailey, a musician in 1955, invented the dance move. Well, won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Oh, won't you come home? I'm waiting all night long. Yeah, Pops, calm down. How about this one? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think most of us already knew this, right? Most of us knew that it's based on a true story. The movie's main villain, Leatherface, was inspired by a real serial killer named Ed Gein. However, the events that took place in the movie never took place in real life. Wah, wah, wah. What's the world's largest distributor of movies? Where is it? Is it New York or is it Hollywood? New York or Hollywood? Or could it be from a third place? Don's pretty close. Billy D nailed it. Bollywood in India. India's Bollywood is a far larger movie producer. You think there's another place? Nigeria. Nigeria puts out more movies. Who has seen a Nigerian movie? I've seen an Indian dance movie here or there, but I don't know if I've seen a Nigerian movie. They must be like all over Africa, right? Hollywood is third place. Hollywood, third. How do you like that? I'm busting them wide open, these myths. I'm busting wide open these myths, okay? What else do we have? Suicide rates. Suicide rates. Which season has the most suicide rates? Between spring, summer, fall, and winter. Which season? You gotta go with winter, right? You gotta go with winter. Everybody's going with winter. I'm offering myself the day before or the day after Christmas. It isn't winter. It is not winter. In the United States, the highest suicide rates are in April or May. You springers are pretty close to right. I mean, you are right. Springers. April or May. I wonder if it has anything to do with tax day. April 15th, man, I'm not going to make it. How about that? April or May? I wouldn't, I thought April showers bring May flowers. You don't like the month of May, Penny? Because of Mother's Day? Isn't Mother's Day this weekend? Is it this weekend? Mother's Day? I think it is. Now that I don't have to send some or get something from my mom, I kind of slip a little on Mother's Day. It is this weekend, isn't it? Yeah. You guys do something wonderful for your moms and for your wives and mothers of. We'll talk about it Friday. I forgot that this coming weekend is Mother's Day. How about this one? You can overdose on weed. You can overdose on weed. It is incredibly hard to overdose on weed. No. Theoretically, it's possible. If you were to, Mr. 420 says, I've tried. Theoretically, it's possible, but you would have to smoke over 500 joints in a row. However, it's more likely you would ever overdose on coffee than on weed. I'll tell you what, you guys, I overdosed on coffee. Not overdosed to the hospital, but there was a phase of time because I was getting up early and going to work, and I was off of everything else, but I was caffeined up. Man, I would have to have 5, 6, 8 cups of caffeine by 10 o'clock in the morning. I was drinking coffee. And one particular day, I don't know how, maybe I was empty stomach, something. I started buzzing my whole body, and I had to go throw up and everything. It was like I had a complete caffeine intake overblow. And that particular incident said, boy, you really got to calm down on your coffee intake. So we started cutting it back. But I'll tell you what, if anybody tells you caffeine, you can't feel caffeine, you have just a few too many or the strong stuff or something. And Penny, I went like, and I'm at work and I just want to go home and lay down. Yeah, coffee. Teenagers are most likely to commit suicide. Teenagers are the most likely. Hey, caffeine's a tough one. Good morning, Hags. Teenagers are the most likely. Not so fast, my friends. In most countries, 50% or a little over 50% of suicides are committed by people over the age of 65. Man, you'd think if you reach 65, you're going to hang in there for the last 8. You know what I mean? And I'm not bailing out on my last 8, my last 6 or 7. Over 65. I'm sure it's health reasons. And that I'm sure that there's also loneliness. You know what I mean? You've lost your friends, you've lost maybe your significant other, whatever. And that's not just true in the United States, it's worldwide. Interesting. I'm going to read one more and then we're going to get back to work on our stuff that we have here. Okay? A group of piranhas can eat any animal to bones in less than a minute. Sorry to hear that, Sam. A group of piranhas. I've seen every one of those Amazonian movies. And, oh man, piranha. Oh no, not a piranha. Piranhas are actually scared of most animals, especially humans. If you're swimming in the water, piranha's not coming at you. It's like going the other way. Isn't that funny? My brain wants to say scared of piranhas. The piranha's brain's going, no, I'm scared of you. They're actually afraid of most humans, especially of most animals, especially humans. They usually swim around until they find a dead animal, and then they'll eat it. But they don't really go for the live action. Interesting. What was the first domesticated animal? I think that's true too, Nerdy. I think they do that. What was the first domesticated animal? Dog or a cat? Or something else? A goat? What do you think the first domesticated animal? We're going pig. Going raccoon, Sam, Chewy. Chewy's great-grandfather. No, you guys are going to freak out on this one. This is going to freak you out. You ready? 14,000 years ago, the first animals to be domesticated was a reindeers by the Mongolians. Reindeer. How do you like that one? 14,000 years ago, the Mongolians are going, no, you guys can work for us now. Start hauling my sleigh. I agree, Melody. Reindeer are cool. But that's one you can put in your hat. And you'll be able to fake anybody out with that one. Julius, I would have never guessed it either. It kind of makes sense though, doesn't it? If you think about it, sort of makes sense. Alrighty. We were reading an article yesterday. We were reading an article yesterday about ancient cultures, mythologies in their cultures, and was psychoactive drugs as prevalent in ancient cultures as our modern thinking tells us? Or is it more of a romantic idea and it's not nearly as all-pervasive as we've been taught? Or is it somewhere in between? Well, it's somewhere definitely in between. But the more I'm reading and the more I'm looking into it, I think that we have created a romantic version of our past that allows us to comfortably do what we do now. I can see where that happens. And it wasn't like someone sat down and came up with a plan, we're going to fake them out. It just develops that way. In the decades since Watson's articles, assertions of widespread archaic psychedelic use have diversified. They've inspired theories, and we read that part. As of this writing, ethnographic research has yet to be conducted, but if confirmed, this would lead to the only direct evidence of the hallucinogenic use of psychedelics in traditional contexts outside of the Americas. It seems as if the southern United States area down through Mexico and Central America is pretty much the limited space for the original use of the psychedelic compound psilocybin. If Fortier and Lecter are right, psychedelics have been the exception in the history of humanity, not the rule. Yes, some people used them before a couple hundred years ago, but they aren't as common as we've come to believe. And various popular examples seem relatively recent. Still, some scholars disagree. A separate set of discoveries raises the possibility that mushroom consumption did span some areas of the globe, including Siberia. Let's review a couple of examples. This is what I like, okay? Winckelmann presents what he calls the mushroom stones of Chucuito. Do you remember those? We've seen this picture. I've shared this picture here a few times. The mushroom stones, the little guys with the little mushroom heads, and there's about 7 of them in the picture, different sizes. Those are the mushroom stones of Chewy. They're large sculptures, yes, Peru, with domed caps and elongated stems discovered in the highland of Peru. It's certainly possible that they were made to resemble mushrooms, yet Winckelmann fails to acknowledge the leading interpretations of these statues by the overwhelming amount of anthropological evidence is that they're penises. They're not mushrooms, they're penises. We want them to be mushrooms, I did, but the overwhelming evidence is, go on. In fact, the site's local name where they're found, the local name where they are found, it's called Incayuo. It comes from the Quechua word for penis. The site that they're found at is called Penis, okay? Winckelmann includes a picture of some mushroom stones, yet he doesn't present the most prominent statue. Of those 7 that we see, there's another one out there from the same site. We don't get to see that one. It's an elongated fella. It's longer than the other fellas. Okay? He towers above the others. And he has a large groove in him that resembles the external opening of the urethra. So he's a penis and a vagina. Take what's the best known example of ancient psychedelic iconography. The mushroom shaman. Okay? The Tyrone Stone. You're out of line, Herbie. Okay? The mushroom shaman. It was actually first popularized in Terence McKenna's book, Food of the Gods, 1992. McKenna's image is of an Algerian rock art dated to be between 7,000 and 9,000 years ago. It shows a bee face figure in a sumo squat, feathers poking out of its head, and a checkerboard of dots covering its body and spilling out from its legs. Most notably, it holds batches of mushrooms, with another 50 or so sprouting from its limbs and torso. This is the mushroom shaman that Terence McKenna claims. The mushroom shaman is an icon of the psychedelic community. You can find it printed on shirts and mugs and paintings. I think we talked about this yesterday, but it's actually a copy. In fact, Harrison never saw the original. Instead, he deciphered a photograph from a book, and he added all of those mushrooms that are sprouting out of it. And that becomes Terence McKenna's looking at it, going, oh yeah, mushroom shaman. So he based his mushroom shaman theory on a bogus photograph painting. Listen, people don't just claim that psychedelics are old and widespread. They also believe that the modern therapeutic use echoes ancient shamanic traditions. As UCLA psychiatry professor Charles Grobe explained in an interview with Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness brand, Goop, he said, the shaman would administer these compounds only for very clear, circumscribed reasons, such as an initiation rite or a healing ceremony, and only to address individuals with severe medical or psychological problems. These weren't ancient cultures that just sat around tripping. Reasonable, right? A patient comes to the shaman with a psychological problem, like depression or existential angst. The shaman administers the psychedelic, and the patient is healed. It's like visiting a psychiatrist, except with more ritual. But this is a misleading characterization of how shamans have traditionally used psychedelics. The best way to appreciate this is to simply watch them taking the substance. An easily accessible depiction of shamans using psychedelics is anthropologist Napoleon Chagon's 1973 short documentary called Magical Death, which portrays shamanism among the Yanomami of Venezuela. The film begins showing the shaman healing illness. He snorts a psychedelic snuff powder, and he calls spirits, which he experiences as entering his feet and climbing through his body. He draws on their power to remove illness and evil spirits out of his patients. No patients actually consume the psychedelics. And in this group, there's no mention of treating mental disorders. The shaman's the guy that gets the dose, not the patient, in many of these actual shamanistic practices. This has got to be interesting. If the beginning represents a slight divergence from the popular story, the next part of the film is a total overhaul. Intent on killing babies in an enemy village, a squad of shamans snort the stuff. Some shamans act like helpless babies. Others bend over the ashes and imitate murderous spirits devouring the babies' souls. As proof of their success, Dedi Haiwa and another shaman act like dying babies, writhing in agony in the ashes. They didn't tell us this one in shaman school, okay? They didn't tell us that they're using them to enact the future battle that they're going to go and wipe out another tribe. Psychedelic shamanism here is nothing like the view endorsed on Goop. Anthropological research conducted since the mid-20th century show that among the Yanomami and other groups, shamans used the psychedelics to tap into supernatural and provide services like weather change, divination, physical healing, and aggressive sorcery. They might confront heinous sorcerers. They might purge patients of treacherous ghosts. They might become the supernatural beings themselves. Psychedelics, like dancing, drumming, darkness, and other psychotropic drugs, push shamans into states where they and their communities believe them to have access to otherworldly powers. This contrasts with the Western clinical application, where psychedelics are administered like medicine and used to break down the patient's harmful pattern of thought. Are you guys freaking out yet? I didn't know it from this angle. I really didn't. And this is the more correct science point of view. It doesn't limit or doesn't negate or limit anything that we're doing. But we do want to understand our true roots. You know what I mean? I don't want to be fed by Western media some story and then build on the false story. This misconception seems to stem partly from the biased interpretations of some anthropological data. When I asked Charles Grobe for sources describing the psychotherapeutic use of psychedelics, he pointed me to Marlene Dobkin de Rios, who conducted research on ayahuasca use among Peruvian mestizos in the 1960s and 70s. Groups that have been subject to the influence of Christian missionaries for the last 4 centuries. There are obvious limitations with making inferences about typical psychedelic shamanism using religious and medicinal practices that were actually profoundly shaped by European colonialism. Once the missionaries got involved, the story shifts. Putting these issues aside, De Rios' work is still not any kind of a confirmation of the Goop view, then it is a demonstration of Euro-American flair. Consider her book, A Hallucinogenic Tea, Laced with Controversy, 2008. It was co-authored with the Peruvian journalist Roger Rumrill. She and Rumrill compared Amazonian shamans who treat Western tourists with those who work with the locals. The tourist healers charge sums usually impossible for locals to pay. So they endorse the Coop view. They treat psychological distress by administering the ayahuasca to the patient. They figured it out. It was commercially viable to, instead of the shaman taking it and doing his mystical dances and drawing out spirits and this and that, it's better if we give it to them and charge them. These tourists come to try to resolve problems, personal problems, said healer Guillermo Arevalo in an interview published in this book. According to the author, Arevalo had a university degree in pharmacology and was the owner of Espiritu de Anaconda, a healing center that charged foreigners $40 to $50 per day at the time of the interview. They suffer a type of psychosis and psychological upheaval. They suffer from fear, paranoia, and other problems. These patients are the ones I treat with ayahuasca. The authors contrasted these tourist shamans with those who treat locals. Ayahuasca played an important role in this worldview, where evil men and women would be able to bewitch their enemies, and women would be able, and cause them illness, bad luck, and even death. That's the local use. But then there's the tourist use. Shamans used the ayahuasca. They used it to conduct supernatural realms, contact supernatural realms, and identify battle witches that could cause misfortune. Insofar as ayahuasca was used to treat distress, this meant combating evil. What a difference, they wrote, from the psychodynamic worldview of Freud and the contemporary Western psychology. Erica Dyke said, and we're almost done, a lot of the enthusiasm for investing in psychedelic drugs is a paradigm shift in the way we think about mental disorders. Our stories reflect that goal. We portray shamans around the world as psychotherapists and psychopharmacologists. We imagine how we want the psychedelics to be used and then project their images onto other cultures we know very little about. That's the end of that article. It's kind of blowing your mind, though. It's kind of blowing my mind when you think about it. It's like we're building stories on top of fake stories. Let's just tell it like it is. We use it to combat our mental illnesses, PTSD. It keeps me creative. It keeps my brain young. A couple of days ago, recently, there was a guy blasted a little bit. I didn't take it personal. Oh, you guys are following a guy. First of all, no one's following me, so that's a misstatement. We're all in this together. There's no follower. But you guys are following a guy that's only tripped once, is what someone said. Well, first of all, that's completely false. The once that I've had is, in my mind, I went too far. That's the story I told about tripping once. I went way too far. And I learned my limit. And the reason that I'm mentioning that is because we've learned, if I'm a physician to myself, I've learned how to make sure that my doses work for me and not against me. And for me, it's really simple. I just microdose at this point. Unless there's a mush fest. And there's going to be a bunch of people around, and I have guides, and I have, the setting is correct. So that's the big part of it. And for the point is not to party for me or anybody I would coach and help. I see it as the Western civilization view. Okay, so that's enough of that story, right? Let's get a number give me 5 people that liked that article. I had to break it down over 2 days, but give me 5 people that liked that article. It makes you at least get started to think. Am I right? We're starting to think. If that's all it does is generate our thinking bug, now I got to go read some anthropology. I got to go see that movie in 1973. I got to, I want to fill in the blanks. I don't want to just believe it because they painted it on a t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? We owe the fungus better than that. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Go, 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 go. Give me a number between 1 and 50. The ones that were above me, they didn't count. Now I've got it. Geez, you guys are fast today. 26. Pidgey Page. 26. Pagey, you're on the page. Here we go. Pidgey Page. Okay, Paige, you're down for it, girl. Okay? We'll be spinning to winning tomorrow. And we'll get those packages out once I get addresses. Excuse me. Wish Jolie a little bit of luck. Jolie, our good friend here, Jolie. She moved from New York to somewhere in Pennsylvania. And she's written to me a couple of times. She had a hard time physically, and even, she just had a rough move. And I get it. I'm having one myself. My big thing here, I tell you right now, is I'm not sleeping well. Like my brain just won't shut off at night as I think I have to do this, and I have to set up that, and I have to move this, and I have to get that. And I'm going to be homeless for a couple of days between the closing of this one and the opening of that. And my brain isn't doing a great job of shutting off. So we were commiserating with each other. She's in the same place. But it looks like she got her move done. She wrote me yesterday with her new address. So just have a good thought for her. Okay? Kim, I've moved before a number of times, and I've never felt like this one. This one is definitely, I'm admitting to the stress of it. Yeah, I really am. I'm actually really grateful, too, because I'm shedding. I have so much. I was going through my stuff yesterday, tagging it for a garage sale this weekend. Why do I have 4 vacuum sealers? Why? Why do I have 4 vac sealers? I don't even remember buying them all. Like, I'm finding them. Like, where'd this one come from? Just, it's crazy. Okay, it's 3 break at the same time, Greenie. I don't know, man. I think I didn't like the way a couple of them performed because they would just keep sucking until all the air was out. I had to find one that would stop in the middle of the suck. You know what I mean? In the middle of the back. So I could stop it where it's taken most of the, but it's not going to crunch my mushrooms. All right, let's get it on the road. We don't really have that much time today. We don't. I took up all my time reading that article to you guys. Okay. If you guys need a vacuum sealer, all you have to do is come on by on Saturday. I'm going to just briefly touch on humiliation. We don't have enough time to go through it because I have to be out of here by about 10:05 today. Humiliation we can do. We can introduce ourselves to the concepts. Brene Brown's book. Kim, it's going to be an amazing garage sale, I can promise you. Okay. All the cruel and brutal things, even genocide, start with the humiliation of one person. That's a quote by Kofi Annan, who was the Secretary General of the United Nations. All the cruel and brutal things, even genocide, start with the humiliation of one individual. Based on the research, we can define humiliation as the intensely painful feeling that we've been unjustly degraded, ridiculed, or put down, and that our identity has been demeaned or devalued. Humiliation is most similar to shame in that it causes us to feel fundamentally flawed. When you heap humiliation on someone or you cause them humiliation, you are pushing the program that tells them that they are fundamentally flawed. How terrible is that? How incredibly terrible. And I shared a story with you guys earlier this week. Maybe it was last week. About my dad picking me up at the football field. And I had to go across the practice field get in the car with my gear on. I had to go back the next day, turn my gear in and tell the coach. My dad was training me through humiliation. That's what he did. Many things I look back when I'm learning about more correct way to perform and to be kind and to be good. Humiliation is one of the things that I avoid so completely because it damaged me a great deal. And I'm not crying. I'm an adult and I have to recognize where those patterns are and deal with them. But my biggest takeaway from humiliation is I don't want to humiliate another person. I'll do almost everything to keep from humiliating someone, to the point of almost humiliating myself. I'm not saying I would, but I don't need to be right. I don't need to put you on the spot. I don't need to make you look bad. I don't need to train you through shame and humiliation. And I'm telling you, I think it's old school. We can say that. 50s, 60s, 70s, Maybe our parents didn't know any better. All the grace is there. But once we start understanding what humiliation does, it is so damaging. You're taking a guy that could be, one of your children could be a NASA scientist, and instead they're going to be sitting next to Chewy in the truck. And you didn't mean it. But where else would he go? He feels fundamentally flawed. He or she, they're not going to go say, I'm going to be a rocket scientist now, I'm going to be an astronaut. They're going to say, man, me and Chewy, we deserve each other. And that's exactly what happens. I can tell you the halls of many of these anonymous organizations filled with people who experienced extreme humiliation. And the best way to serve is don't humiliate. Humiliation is more similar to shame in that we feel fundamentally flawed. The most relevant distinction is that humiliation arises because someone else pointed out our flaws. Humiliation comes from outside at us. Of course, we receive it. Why? Because we've forgotten the second agreement. Don't take anything personal. If somebody's trying to humiliate me, A, it's not going to work because I don't take it personal. And B, it's about you, Dad, Mom. But when you're 8, you don't know that. When you're 12, you still haven't figured that out. When you're 27 and you're a drug addict, you still didn't get it. Imagine if you didn't take it personal in the first place. That's the agreement. This is one of the places we can stay so mentally healthy because we just don't receive it. You're also, if you're living impeccably, very few people are looking to humiliate you. They're actually looking to be more like you. The entire key is understanding humiliation. See what happens to us and feel it. Understand why we're feeling it. And it's almost, well, it will always be because of the other person. So it's really not your character flaw, is it? It's theirs. And that doesn't mean we're the judge. That's our time to practice compassion. We want to be compassionate for those. And our goodness and our kindness can train that concept out of them. Look, bro, you don't need to humiliate somebody to get your point across. Let me show you a better way. Just be kind. People receive kindness. And you can warp someone through humiliation. So please, out there, let's be aware today of anything that we might stumble across in our journey today. Is this about to humiliate someone? Am I about to experience humiliation? I'm not going to take it personal. And I'm not going to do that because that would be less than impeccable. So work on that one today. We'll pick up some more humiliation tomorrow. It's a rough topic, but give me 5 people that say it's something we should do. These are some of the topics that are good to cover. Give me 5 people. It's a rough topic. And it touches all of us. A lot of us resonate with it. A lot of us experienced it. And it led us to places we didn't need to be. Okay? The biggest part is, here's the good part, the best part. You can't be humiliated ever again if you don't take something personal. You can't. You're a Teflon man, woman. So you want to teach that to the kids. You want to teach, you know what, that kid that's trying to humiliate you, the bully in school, something, whatever. You don't even need to react. Just avoid it. Don't take it personal. It's about him. Go have a great day, you guys. I'll see you same much time, same much channel right here tomorrow. And if Chewy happens to stop by, tell him we know a good 12-step program for raccoons. It's called RAA. No, RA. It's called Raccoons Anonymous. Okay? Have a good day, Brian. And Penny Pack, I'm glad to see you, Penny, and Taco. And Dando and Mello and Brian C. and Herbie Von Werby Kabop. And Paige, what a good girl. Nerdy, Mr. 420. Classic and Fifi. Good morning, Fifi. Penny. Vegas, you have a great day, dear. Billy D and Cleany. Love my Cleany. Brian C.J. Hurst. Michael Shanti Patterson. Sanum and Mike Buddy Ball. Cat Meow Zilla Trenty, the Trenty Trenter son. Penny Pack and Marcus McCarty. Nippy, have a wonderful day. Hug a tree. Joe Dees, he's on the list. Melody Dawn, good morning. Derek Anderson Higgs. Snap. Coach Carmine. Ishmael Barraza Villegas, Mr. 420 Pidgey Page. Donnie Fike and Calico Meow Kitty. Oreo, J. Her, Sammy P, Juan Tiller, adios. Sue Littlemeyer, Nerdy and Laura, have a divine day. Notorious, Pennypeck and Marcus, Kimberly the Golden Bold and Taco, Nippy and the Wizzy Walzer, Laura, Fifi Melody, the Waz, Rye Fry, Reverie. Okay, I got it. Mr. 420, Anthony T, stay impeccable. Sue, Oreo 5280, not just half the day. 5280s all day. Fungal free. Pops, peace, love, out for things. Be impeccable, both with your words and your actions. Don't take things personal. Don't have expectations of yourself or others. And do the very, very best you can today.